Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to ATM Spellbound. You'll notice, it hasn't been a lot of time, because I think what we're going to do is, at this point, since we're moving into a lot of rituals that we'll consistently be using, whereas the foliate ones are really just kind of temporary things. Just get out of here. The foliate ones are just kind of temporary things, so just kind of using temporary rituals is fine, but for example, this one right here is Strigor's Higher Binding. We're going to be using this one a lot and probably consistently throughout the pack. And really at this point, we're going to start setting up kind of more permanent ritual locations. And then anything, we might find later on that there's a couple low tier rituals that maybe we end up wanting to use or something. Then we'll add additional rituals. But I think at this point, it's time that we set up kind of permanent ritual locations. So I went ahead and moved our one ritual spot over and set it up as the Strigor's Higher Binding and moved our Purifying Flame real quick. Get out of here, you guys. Just go. Just fly on off the mountain. There you go. You're getting close. You're dead. But anyways, I wanted to go ahead because, like I said, I don't have a whole lot of time, and I've got a bunch of building to do down here at this point. But I would like to go ahead and push on into what we're going to be doing today, and that is pushing on into a bit of occultism, into the actual fun stuff. Kind of exciting stuff. Not really fun stuff, because I mean this is fun, but this is the more exciting stuff, the more payoff for actually starting the mod, So we're going to need a couple things here. We are going to need a spirit attuned pickaxe head. Let me get a few diamonds here, 3 to be exact, and I think we need silver. Yeah, silver, and I believe this is our first gin one, right? Yeah. We're going to need a bound gin book, which is going to be Cactus Green, Book and Quill, Purified Ink. Luckily, we grinded a lot of squid early on. Now, Cactus Greens. I know where a desert is, but I do think I'm going to have to actually go out to get those, because I do not... I don't currently possess those. We can make it with yellow and blue dye, though. Yeah, we'll go that route. I think that's going to be the easiest for us. Okay, so there is our green dye. And we should be all set. Let me go ahead and do this. I'm planning on using this for, like, kind of a decorative thing. But it is a little bit unfortunate, because I actually find that I almost have to jump up in there to get it to work, so... That's okay, though. It's worth it. Form over function. So, there we go. There's our gin book. And we're probably going to be making quite a few of these as time goes on, because we are going to need a fair amount of those. Because gin is something that you do find yourself using a lot. Pretty much this tier and the tiers that follow, which is like gin... and then Afrit, and then the Merid. We'll be using these quite a bit, so get comfortable crafting them. Potentially even craft a few in bulk, it doesn't hurt. So the foliate, yeah, see, I'm still probably going to end up wanting stuff like the AVR circle, I feel like, but, and then we could probably do just janitors with the foliate. So yeah, we'll probably end up needing an AVR circle ritual somewhere down here, but maybe not the one that right as we walk in. That's going to come more during like setup phase, which we'll get into when that time comes. But that should be everything, right? For our infused pick. Yes. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead, toss down our items, and then we're going to smack that, and then that is going to start crafting our pick. And then we get to go on a little bit of a grinding spree, because we are going to be mining up isnium. And should be just about to get it. Go, go, gadget pickaxe. Boom, there we go. Alright, there's our infused pick. And then we are going to head over to the nether. We're going to throw on our goggles. So we get this nice pink vision. It's actually not too bad here. Like, I could live here. This is quite nice, actually. But what we're going to do is we're going to look for this right here. Is Neomorph. It basically replaces netherrack, so generally it's going to be pretty easy to spot. And we could probably just pop down to where we're mining at. I imagine would be okay. I was just wondering if we could maybe spot some on the edges here, because that might be a fairly easy way to find it. It's not overly rare, from what I recall, but it is... It's not like super common either. But the divination rod does make it extremely easy to farm up in mass. And out of curiosity, just wondering, is there an Isnium site? No, there's not an Isnium site. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're just going to run the tunnels that we've been through and see if we can spot any Isnium on the walls. And you do have to have the goggles on, I think, to mine it, right? I think most things, it's to interact with it, you're going to have the goggles on. And I think that's true with the Isnium. Oh, there is a loot box. Hey! Socialized loot. We got a couple tattered tomes. We're going to take those. Wixie shards. That's actually a nice find. Sharpshooter 4. So I didn't really explore all of this in the last episode, just because it felt really dull and I wasn't finding loot. So I think most of the footage from this got cut. Or, you know, a few episodes back. I don't know. Whenever we did that. But, yeah, apparently there is loot in here. I just didn't look long enough to find it. Oh, we got beetroots. I'll take that for sure. But, hey, there's another loot box. I want this because the loot out of here was actually pretty good. Tablet of Burrowing. We got the Unholy Grail. Alright. Black Lotus. We got some cloth. We'll take it just to help out a little bit. More condensed blood. We'll take it. No, don't want that. And I think... and we'll take the name tags also. Ah ha ha! Okay, I wasn't for sure what that does. It gives us like super mode poison. Okay, there we go. We're gonna have to put that on like a display stand, I think. Okay, I've been running around for a bit. I did die one time. You're gonna notice like stuff took a durability hit. I did die one time. I fell in lava when I was up exploring. I thought I got it on camera, but I didn't, because I was on the phone with my internet provider for a bit while I was looking for this, and then forgot to hit record when I came back. My current internet provider, not my new one. I wish they'd hurry up and call me. But anyways, you can see Isnium ore. If we take this off, you're going to notice it just looks like netherrack, but you will note that it says Occultism netherrack. So that is an important distinction there. But what we're going to do is we're going to take the divination rod and shift right click, and it's now attuned to Isnium ore. And we can see, if we stand back here, it's going to highlight the nearest one there. So, but we are going to... Actually shows that we could mine it with this. We're going to try it, because I'm actually kind of curious if that actually works. Nope. It gives netherrack. Okay. Looks like we got one right down there. And you'll notice that with this, it's basically... It's kind of like having netherite sight. In some ways, it's a little bit better. But at the same time, it doesn't, it doesn't highlight like a ton of it. Like, netherite sight would. But the distance on it can be a lot farther. So there is that as well. We're going to go ahead and grab that. There's 3. And we are going to need a bunch of this. Like a whole bunch of it. Looks like our next one is right over there. And this thing will check a fairly large radius. So once you have it slotted, it's pretty much just a process of just mining around and collecting it all. It is worth noting, though, that there's not a whole lot of point in enchanting this pickaxe, because we're going to be tossing it pretty quickly. So I wouldn't bother wasting time on it. Oh, we got ancient debris. That's nice. Actually, mining for our isnium down here, there's a pretty good chance we might get a decent amount of ancient debris. Let's see where our next one is. Oh, but I'm not picking it up. That could be a problem when I get back and realize I didn't pick up our ancient debris. But yeah, I was quite irritated with my internet provider. Just a little side story real quick before we cut while I continue mining. But I called, and I mean, it takes a lot for me to get irritated with somebody, but I got very irritated with this guy to the point that he ended up hanging up on me. But basically, I called because I had no internet. You know, and it's not like it's a new thing. Like, it's literally every couple days I call. You know, I've called them hundreds of times in the few years, and that's not an exaggeration. That's the sad part. But I've called them, and I called them saying, you know, I don't have internet. It's the same as it's been the last, like, 3 times I've called this week. And the guy keeps telling me, no, you have internet. I said, I would know if I have internet. I don't have internet. Well, on my end, it shows that you have internet. But I don't care about your end. I'm paying, you know, for my end of things. I'm not paying for your end to say that I have internet. Because I certainly do not have internet. Well, you've got internet on my end. Okay, but can you look into it? Because I don't have internet on my end. Well, finally, I started getting irritated. I said, you're not going to sit here and tell me that I've got internet when I don't have internet. Kept trying to tell him that I do not have internet, and it's not like a new thing. You know, it's been consistently happening because their upload speed drops to about 0, like literally no upload speed. You know, I posted a picture on the Discord the other day of having literally no upload speed, and them telling me consistently over the past I don't want to die again. Them telling me consistently over the past few months that I don't have internet because it's cold out. Because apparently cold weather means no internet. Anyways, I got very, very irritated with him. And he finally just hung up on me. He started threatening me like, I'm going to tell you one more time not to raise your voice. I said, like, I don't care if you tell me one more time. Like, that's not really going to affect anything. I said, I'm telling you, I have no internet. Finally, he just hung up on me. But it's not the first time they've hung up on me. And, I mean, that's the only company I've ever had that I just cannot stand them. Because the service is always so bad, and they haven't fixed anything since I've had them, like, for the last, like, 3 years. So, anyways, that's my my rant for the day. But, like I said, I'm going to call my new internet company again today, because I imagine they're waiting till after Thanksgiving, is my guess, but I'm going to try to get a more accurate date. I know they're in the middle of, like, this is a brand new setup kind of a thing, so it's whatever. I've had them before, and I know their services are great, but I know it's taken them a long time to do this, but their service is actually great, and their like customer service and everything too is really, really good. And if I have any complaints, their main office is like right down the road, so it's not a big deal to go by and complain in person. So okay, back at home we've got 34 ore, which I think is sufficient for now. And I'm gonna go ahead actually and throw him that ancient debris real quick, and but we're gonna go ahead and let our Lucreist, we're gonna let him deal with this stuff. Actually, I don't. Let me remove. I don't want to do that much. Let's just go with 10 for now, because I think we could probably get by with just like 20. Let's go 28. 28 of the ore. Yeah, I think that should, or 28 of the ingots. I think that should be sufficient for now. If not, we can deal with it. Actually, looking here, his essence decay is only 17%, so. But we're going to let him process that down. It looks like he's going to survive a bit longer on us. Long enough for us to get another crusher. So, we're going to get a better one before too long with more output and stuff, so. And can I process this? I can through bulk blasting. That's great. And of course, we can just keep our divination rod attuned. And we'll just put this away for now until we decide to go mine more Isnium. Over time, we're going to use a lot of this. And I think even just for our initial occultism, I don't know if 28 will be enough. Probably. I'm going to say probably, but it may not be. But now we can get our Isnian pick. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. And that is going to complete a quest. Now this pick, we can use it to farm up the Isnium ore. But this is also going to be used for a couple different rituals here, which we'll get into a little bit later. Oh, and something I do want to make a note of, really quick, because I was editing the footage and I realized I didn't really talk about it much last episode. I kind of talked around it, but I didn't actually just go over the mechanic. If you hit shift right click on like this little guy, you could see essence decay 21%. When that reaches 100%, they will actually decay and disappear. And so when I talk about these guys dying, that's what I'm talking about. These guys don't last a huge amount of time. They last long enough to get your stuff done and move on through progression. But the later demons, kind of the higher tier you go, the longer they last. And there is certain things like, binding, like the miners and stuff like that. They're going to last because they're bound to an item. Because these kind of are living in a lamp that's basically a mining dimension where they mine. But these guys will decay. So he'll eventually die on us. So don't get too attached. Don't get too attached to him. So, but anyways, we are going to really quickly. Let's whip up 5 of these books just so that we've got them. But anyways, we are going to do a ritual. We are going to do the Empty Soul Gem. We're actually going to make a couple of these. We're going to start with 2, and then I might eventually make more. I know the book says you won't need more than 2, but I do kind of like having more than 2 personally. But we'll see. So this is 4 soul sand, and then just the ingots that I've kind of got laid out here. And I think this is our biggest one that we've done so far, right? 8 inputs. But we're going to go ahead and click that. Started binding Gen into the Soul Gem. So for this, the Soul Gem kind of acts as the item. The Gen is going to remain indefinitely. And there we go. There's our first Soul Gem. And then we're going to go ahead and just lay out the other one. And of course, what the Soul Gem does is it allows us to move mobs. So we'll be able to really easily bring back, cows, or more immediately bring back villagers for sacrifice, because we're going to start getting into sacrificing stuff. Now what we're going to do, if we take a look, to get the Wither Skeleton Skulls, we're going to need the Osirin's Unbound Calling ritual. And for this ritual, we're going to need this layout right here. And we're going to go ahead and visualize it. And we're going to set this up. It doesn't have to be somewhere. Honestly, it would be best if it was someplace with a bit of space. So I think we're going to come out probably right here. Because this room is, as it expands, it's going to have a fair few different rituals in it. Now, we will have to replace the runes when it comes time to change this floor. But I don't plan on using the same floor design that we used in the other rooms. The rest of the area here. So I've got to figure out exactly what I want the floor to be. And as I mentioned, I'm kind of doing a little bit of bulk recording in preparation for Thanksgiving. So I think, well, this will be the last video in terms of bulk recording. Probably come next episode, we'll have something a little bit more concrete laid out, but I think the placement of this should be perfectly fine for us. So we'll go ahead and just lay out our chalk. Now I'm also going to need skeleton skulls, and then I'm also going to need netherrack, block of copper, soul sand, silver, block of gold, and diamond, as well as a skeleton skull in the middle. The nice thing is this is going to summon us a few wither skeletons. It's not just one. A little bit costly, but it definitely has a good trade-off, Let's see, how many bowls do I have left? Not enough. Let's go ahead and just make up bunch more of these. And we'll get ourselves a new golden sacrificial bowl. Okay, it's been a little bit. I was doing some planning and some thinking. Also, I went out and grinded skeletons for a while because we were pretty much out of bones. After our farming stuff and everything, we were pretty much out of bones, so I needed to go farm up some skeletons and stuff. And I went ahead and got this one laid out with everything that we kind of currently have. I don't have a lot of skeleton skulls because we just have the one. But over here, I did set up Hadron's Lure. This is going to be the site for our Hadron's Lure ritual. And I also started kind of figuring out what we're going to be doing for flooring with some nether bricks and andesite. I think I like that. And then the polished umber I'm not completely sold on because it is kind of a similar texture here. But I had some made up because I was going to be using it for another area of the base. And I figured, well, I'll try that, see how it sits with me. Because, of course, we still have to build out the entire floor throughout here. So I figured, well, I just want to get something down so that when we put down our chalk, we don't have to break it and replace it later. So I went with that. Let's go ahead and get our bones and put these out. And I think we're going to see about getting some skeleton skulls because I need basically a total of 5 here in order to summon wither skeletons. And our only other alternative, of course, is killing... It's going to be killing... hold on to these two. It's going to be killing skeletons with creepers, and that's a whole annoyance when we can do it this way. Oh, yeah. Oops. Let me get this. And there we go. It's going to start summoning us a possessed skeleton. Oh, but we need, before we do that, we need chicken. We need a chicken sacrifice. I was thinking there was a sacrifice, but whoops. So let's pop into the overworld. I think while we're over there, I'm just going to go ahead and get 2 chickens because we may end up needing them. I need to get some chicken breeding up and going here pretty soon because I imagine as we progress, we're going to be summoning quite a few of these to get skeleton skulls. But the initial upfront cost for this ritual, you know, for doing the wither skeleton ritual, it's the worst because we need 4 for the ritual layout, and then we need another one for the ritual itself. So, you know, we talked about this ritual briefly last episode, but that we weren't going to do it just yet because we had to do a sacrifice. And this is the reason, because we didn't have soul stones last episode. Soul stones are just going to make it a whole lot easier for us until we get chickens set up in our base. So that's something that we are going to be pushing for fairly quickly, especially because we're going to be needing animal sacrifices. And as I need like more skeleton skulls and wither skeleton skulls and things, it's going to be more and more important. And we'll probably end up getting... a bit more of these soul gems over time. But today started being hectic because I've started getting ready for Thanksgiving and baking. And I know it's going to be like an all-day affair, so I just wanted to... Oh, come here, you. Get back into the ritual. There we go. Probably because I wasn't letting it have time to do the cooldown. Because this weapon's not super fast. But there we go. It's starting to consume the bones for us there. And then if we give it just a second, we're going to have ourselves a skeleton. There we go. That is our skeleton. And of course, we're kind of fighting at a slight disadvantage because we do have the debuff here where our weapons deal less damage. But that's okay. It's not all that difficult. But you can see that we got a skeleton skull. So there's one down. And then I'm going to have to summon it a few more times to get the other skulls that we're going to need. But, of course, once again, this is a lot worse the first time than it's going to be the later times. So, and we get back most of the bones that we spend. It's just a lot of books. But now we got sugarcane. I have a ton of sugarcane. I guess I could actually block his attacks. They don't do much damage at all, so I haven't really been worrying about it too much. And there we go. There is another skeleton skull. Alright, now I need to do this 2 more times. I'm just going to do the /back for this, because it is a little bit of a jaunt. But I figure after all the Thanksgiving rush is over, I'm going to spend a bit of time building, because I want to get the kitchen built, and I like to get chicken pens set up, and also cows, just because we're making a lot of books here lately. There we go. Oh, we got 2 skeleton skulls off of that one, so that's quite lucky. I'm just going to toss that. So technically we don't have to do another ritual right this second. We can do that, and then to summon our wither skeletons. Is this the one that takes a villager? Villager or a player. Osiren's Unbound Calling. Okay, so in that case, we'll just go /back. And these soul gems can be used to capture villagers just the same as they can be used to capture, you know, chickens and things like that. So we are going to head to the village. So it really wouldn't hurt probably, because I'm planning on using probably this method for getting a lot of our wither skeleton skulls, especially early on, until we set it up for kind of automation. But it might be worthwhile to, oh, I see an iron golem. That could be terrible, I don't know. But we'll probably set up maybe some kind of little villager thing. Let's grab this guy. Alright, so we're going to put our skeleton skull in. It started summoning the wild hunt. You can see the gray particles. That's when we're going to drop our villager. Probably going to have to set up cages here just to keep our animals still, because having to chase them around isn't great fun. But the nice thing is you'll notice that the soulstone seems to kind of reset their fear of you. And they usually don't take off running. There we go. Neighborhood Brawl. And that's going to get our ritual up and going. And we'll give it just a second. Now, bear in mind that a lot of these ritual layouts are going to be used for other things as well. Because, you know, we use that one for summoning the Endermite. There we go. The Wild Hunt is on. Oh my gosh. Alright, let me not die here. Oh, God. So many skeletons. Oh my gosh, that hurt extremely bad. I didn't think they would all aggro quite like that. Since we do have the aggro reduction, but I think just because I just stayed there in the middle of it while it was going off, I should probably back up next time. But you can see there's some other wither skeletons. We just have to get over there to them. And of course, this weapon not working that great in this dimension hurts us a little bit, but we're going to make it a bit stronger here soon, because we can definitely do that. There we go. Spooky, scary skeletons. And also with this ritual, don't forget that there is a ritual from Malum, of course, that does damage to entities in the area. That will work on these, and it might be something that we do set up at some point. Or something from Britannia to basically kill these mobs for us, and that way we can summon them, but not actually have to fight these. Not to mention, it shouldn't suffer from the damage debuff that we have. So there is that as well. Now, I was thinking there was one. Yeah, there's one right up there. And you can see we've got 4 wither skeleton skulls so far. And I think that's it, right? There's just 3. But you can see we got 7 wither skeleton skulls from that ritual. So, I mean, that right there is over 2 wither summons, which is what we like to see. And should be a suitable way for us to do our wither summoning early on, is doing this ritual. But we are going to set it up, I think, come next episode, because I've got a couple plans for next episode, because we're going to kind of finish out the progression aspect of occultism today. And then come next episode, we're going to do some stuff related to setups. I hate shielding so much. But we're going to do some stuff related to our storage setups and things like that. So we got our wither skeleton skulls, and you can see that to do that again, all we need is one skeleton skull, and then poof, we're all set. And of course, that's just 4 bones in a book. So of course, we do need some blocks of metals and a diamond and things like that. But overall, it's actually fairly cheap to do another summon. And if we average 6-7 wither skeletons per summon, that means we're going to come out pretty good, right? As far as our wither skeleton skulls go. Now, if we take a look here, that finishes up that quest, and we do have the quest here for red chalk. For this, we are going to have to get some Alfred Essence. So, what we're going to have to do is we are going to have to summon an Unbound demon. So, for this, we're going to look at the Alfred Essence. The Abra's Open Conjure is this ritual right here. So, we do need to set up another ritual. We are going to need a couple skeleton skulls for this. But this is how we're going to get our Alfred Essence. And it can take multiple summons as well. And you can see that it's going to take some netherrack, some nether quartz, flint and steel, gunpowder. And we're going to need a book of binding for Alfred. So give me a minute to get this ritual laid out. Whoops. Give me a minute to get this ritual laid out. I think we're going to put it kind of near these, because this is kind of like mob summoning. This is the mob summoning corner of things. And that way, whenever we set up our automatic damage, we can just kind of set it up in relation to this room and this little area. And then we can have all of our mob killing happen here. And not have to do it elsewhere, because I think the things that we're going to generally be summoning is going to be these 3 things. And really only this one if we run out of red chalk, which I'm planning on maybe just setting up so that we can repair our chalk, so we don't have to farm Alfreds after the fact, but just in case, it'll be good to have it here, I think. Okay, and we are going to need a cow as a sacrifice for this, so I'm going to grab one, and then hopefully we get it in one shot, but we'll see. And then I've also got the stuff on me to make the books that we're going to need. Because, of course, we're going to need Alfred books. This is one of the last ones that we have. And then we have Merid as kind of the final tier of books. So we're at the 3rd tier. And all we really need for Merid is red chalk. And then a bunch of metals. It's a little bit expensive. But it's going to be great come next episode for what we're going to be doing. But let's go ahead and make ourselves some Alfred books. I'm going to go ahead and make 5 of these. Trying to make these kind of in bulk. I did use all my foliate ones because I had to get a couple more skeleton skulls, and unfortunately I did not get double off of any of those. And then let's go ahead and bind this up. There we go. And then we should be all set. I've got this kind of laid out. You can see the flint and steel, nether quartz, gunpowder, netherrack. The items actually aren't very expensive. To say the least. We'll go ahead and drop that into there. It's going to start summoning our Alfred. And then we're going to put in our cow. She's going to run around like a mad person. Die. There you go. And that's going to trigger that. And it's going to start casting our ritual for us. And this is going to be something we're going to have to fight. So just be prepared for that. But if we take a step back, I don't think the aggro range will see us with our like super boots here. I'm going to have to repair these again, I think. Either that or we're going to start into Evil Craft soon. Very, very soon. So we might do that. Because we definitely can start into Evil Craft. We have plenty of blood available. 50,000 millibuckets. So might start into that. Soon enough. And here we go. But I just kind of want to push occultism, that way we can get basically our ore processing system in place. Alright, so there's our Alfred. There are a bunch of blazes, of course. Probably the best thing to do here... Oh, they see me. That's not great. Where's my bucket of water? You guys don't have to catch everything on fire. I forget that the frame stairs, if they don't have anything in them, they can be caught on fire, so... They may screw up a little bit of our stuff here, but that's okay. We may also just be able to pull him back. Because he's coming. Oh, gosh. And he hits like a truck. And he moves super fast, so... there is also that. Not to mention he has a ton of health. But actually, I think I could cheese him right here. I think he keeps getting stuck, so... that's what we'll do. As you can see, this battle is a little bit stout. But like I said, I think we're going to go ahead and set up like some auto damage to have that in place, because it's just going to make our lives a whole lot easier if we have that. Honestly, for this guy, it might even be best to soften him up a little bit with that other sword. This one here, because it just does so much damage. Yeah, it does 6 damage per hit. That's a lot better. Well, I think that one was a crit, wasn't it? There we go. There we go. Look at that. Perfect, too. Because then I can finish him off with the scythe. There we go. Oh, and we got our Alfred Essence. 2 of them, actually. Normally, they're pretty rare, but I think with the combination of the ring and kind of the latent fortune that we have, I think... these guys are the hardest part of this fight. Probably use the sword for this. Yeah. Yeah, this sword, you can tell, like, it's night and day. Really, it is. But I want to use a scythe so bad. I think what we're going to end up using is, we're going to pull off the effects of this, which is the cold and fire damage. Try to pull this off with an epic book for Apotheosis. That might be something that we need to start soon. And see if we can put that onto the scythe. Make ourselves a new scythe that has... I think if we have the effects of the cold and fire damage onto the scythe, then we could make a really, really powerful scythe. So, I also would like to have the Vorpal, because that's huge, actually. So that might be something that we look into in the next episode or so. We'll see. But we did get our Alfred Essence, so we can make our white chalk at this point. No, they didn't burn my stuff. I need to replace these. They knocked... a few of my candles seem to have gotten knocked loose. That's fine. We could fix that. And looks like our Wither Skeleton Wither Skeleton Skull got knocked loose too. There we go. That's fixed. And like I said, we probably won't really have to do that summon anymore, especially since we got 2 Alfred Essence, because you can see the only thing that's for is the Impure Red Chalk. So we may end up... I don't know if the Abras is going to be used again. Now, it looks like it's only used for summoning the Alfred before we get the Abras Conjure. So we will do Abras Conjure, because we're going to need an Alfred later, but... I imagine, but we will not... I don't think use this one ever again. So I may end up tearing it down, since it doesn't look like that's going to be used for any crafting. And like I said, I think we're going to set it up so that we can just repair our chalks instead of make some of these more expensive chalks down the road. So I think we'll just end up with an extra, like a spare Alfred Essence in the long run. That should be a-okay. My white chalk is about gone, but... if I need to remake that one, that's okay. But I think we will probably push into repairing before we damage our more valuable chalks. Especially the purple and the red, I do believe. So let's go ahead. There's that. And then we are going to turn that into our impure red chalk. And then, of course, impure red chalk goes into here. Boom, there is our red chalk. And then we have a thing here about the Merid Ore Crusher. We're going to be doing that. We need a Diamond Block, Emerald Block, Isnium Block, and a Gas Tier. And a Bound Merid in the Golden Bowl. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to be setting that up come next episode. Because like I said, next episode is the big payoff kind of episode. Where we get into this. We get into Merid Ore Crushing. And we'll probably, just for my sanity, we'll probably go ahead and set up our damage within this room. I've got to figure out exactly how I want to set that up, but I think we're going to set that up, and that way we don't have to actually kill these guys manually. So, because it is a little bit involved, but we may end up repurposing this ritual. Oh, actually, was it? I think it was, maybe I put water down, and that's what broke my ritual, actually. But yeah, I knocked out a bunch of the runes down through here as well, so that's not good. But I do think we probably will repurpose it, especially since we got the 2 Alfred Essence, and it's not used for anything else. We probably won't keep this ritual laid out. There's not a whole lot of point to it. And we'll instead have a different ritual there, I think. But I've got to figure out what kind of damage I want to do, and I want to do just a little bit of building, like I said. I've got to get back to cooking, so I'm going to keep this episode kind of short. Hope you guys don't mind. But we did kind of finish out our progression. I mean, the mod's pretty much open to us at this point. We can do anything. Once you have all 4 chalks, you're set. You can do pretty much everything. Because, of course, the books aren't expensive. Even the Merid book, being the best one, is still just dye and ink. So the rituals are a little bit more expensive, but we have the Isnium, so we don't actually have to worry about that either. So, but anyways, we are going to wrap up this episode. I'll do some building between episodes. I'll figure out what kind of damage we want for this room for automatically killing our skeletons and our wither skeletons. That way we can easily summon the wither for our nether stars that we're going to need before long, and then we should be all set. So, may go ahead and lay out some of the rituals that we're going to be using come next episode, because they're all pretty straightforward, and some of them will be using the red chalk, but once again, works the exact same way as everything else. And then next episode, we are going to be completely focused on doing probably about 3 different things, 3 different setups related to kind of benefiting from pushing through occultism. I do believe. Once again, I don't think we'll get into the Void Miner just yet, because we will long term, but I think it'll ruin a lot of our fun if we jump right into it, especially my fun whilst mining. So I don't want to do that just yet. But we're going to get into a bit of other stuff. So, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already, to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.